Hello and welcome to another episode of Bahrain Now. Today, the Kingdom of Bahrain celebrates Bahraini Police Day in recognition of the impressive patriotic role of the servicemen and servicewomen in ensuring security and stability and consolidating development and progress. The Ministry of Interior's dedication and strong will are inspired from the directives of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, that are the pillars for reinforcing security and protecting national achievements. The police are the shield that protects the nation, and they are among the finest examples of sacrifice and dedication. Their stances and sacrifices will live forever in the consciousness and hearts of the nation, and generations will perpetuate their stories of selflessness, courage, and heroism, serving and defending the homeland. So stay tuned for the special episode marking Bahraini Police Day. We will be right back after this.
The Interior Ministry and its brave personnel have succeeded in achieving many milestones through the endless support of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to provide all capabilities and resources to achieve high preparedness and professional performance among police personnel to meet the latest global security system, and to offer high level of specialized and disciplined police and security services, and to enhance the competency and capability of police forces to tackle various security challenges. Bahrain Police remain a source of pride throughout their rich history, which has been extended for more than 100 years. The sacrifices of Bahrain Police continue to be appreciated through loyalty value to continue the journey of accomplishments. Bahrain Police Day is a day that tells the story of contributions. You are a fence of safety and security every year.
Welcome back. Our special episode marking Bahraini Police Day continues, and to talk more about that, we are pleased to be joined here at the studio by Captain Fatma Awad from Interpol Directorate at the Ministry of the Interior. Welcome, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, and I'm pleased to be among you all in this auspicious occasion that recognizes the efforts and achievements of the Bahraini Police.
And truly, there are a lot of achievements. You know, the Bahraini Police has a vital and active role in maintaining security and peace. What can you tell us a little bit about that role and its exerted effort?
Okay, now to answer your question, let's switch roles for a moment. Can you describe how do you spend your normal, typical day?
Well, I'd usually start by waking up after getting breakfast, like let's say for about half an hour. I'd head to work for around 8 hours. Head home, unwind for a bit, and then, have dinner after like 2 hours, and then I'm off to bed quite early by like 11.
Okay, now it's our role and it's our duty as the Bahraini Police to ensure that all citizens and residents spend their days as planned without any accidents or incidents. We are not just members of the public security force. We are also regulators and public servants that are qualified to provide a very important service to the community, which is to regulate their daily life. We are also qualified to provide this service by following very important guidelines to maintain public security. We have to be swift in our response to any emergency call, which should be conducted in a very efficient manner through clear and efficient procedures that are driven by accountability, integrity, and humanity in a collaborative manner with the community for the community.
Very beautifully said. And Bahrain Police Day is an opportunity to recall the honorable history of the Bahraini police, which extends for more than a century, and the sacrifice of the martyrs of duty. So, I mean, could you tell us a little bit more about that history?
Well, this day marks decades of loyalty, of dedication and sacrifice by the Bahraini police in order to protect our beloved country, the Kingdom of Bahrain. Since our establishment in 1919 by His Majesty Sheikh Isa bin Ali Al Khalifa, and the Bahrain police law was endorsed in 1920, which was the first legislation in Bahrain that regulates police work in order to protect the security of the nation. In 1970, the women police was established, and in 2020 we celebrated our 50th anniversary of the women police. For more than 100 years, the Bahrain police showed commitment to loyalty and nationalism. In 2019, with the motto of allegiance and sacrifice, the Ministry of Interior celebrated its centennial, and today we continue our journey of allegiance and sacrifice to achieve milestones at different security fields and services to fulfill the modernization and development vision of His Royal Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa.
You know, I mean, there are a lot of milestones and achievements that the police have managed to attain. And on that note, I'd like to ask you about the main achievements accomplished by the Bahraini police during this current year.
Well, in the field of innovation, the Ministry of Interior won the Gold Award for innovative management in government agencies at the International Stevie Awards. Within the field of rehabilitation, the open prison complex shows a remarkable accomplishment. Within the field of community partnership and combating violence, the MAN program, which means together, which is a program to combat violence and addiction, covered 196 schools out of 211 public schools. And the number of students benefiting from the program increased to around 135,000 students. The program has been further developed by adding new curricula on peaceful coexistence, combating extremism, and cybersecurity. The ministry this year celebrated its fourth anniversary of the Bahrain Now project, which was developed to strengthen national identity, values, unity, and loyalty. By next week, we're going to have the first anniversary of the establishment of the Child Protection in the Cyberspace Unit, which within the General Directorate of Anti-Corruption, Economic and Electronic Security. It's also worth mentioning that we achieve milestones when you spend a normal day without any accidents or incidents. That in itself is an achievement.
I think it's like you said, like it's the fact that all of this goes on and sometimes we aren't even really aware of it, the average citizen, and you're putting all of this into place to safeguard citizens and make the country safer. I think that that's just incredible. And moving on to something that you were actually mentioning earlier, could you tell us a little bit more about the women's role and main achievements in the police field in Bahrain?
As women in the police force, we've been there for more than 50 years. In fact, Bahrain is one of the first states in the region to integrate women in the public security force. We started in 1970 with just 2 female officers who held bachelor degrees. In 1972, the numbers increased from 2 to 8 female police officers. In 1973, their number increased to 17 police officers, and today, the ministry has around 2,000 competent and highly qualified police officers, which can be seen in every front line, in any field and specialization, whether it's police aviation command engineers, customs officers, forensic evidence officers, border and traffic security officers, SWAT team members, and even counterterrorism officers at the Special Forces Command. Some of our achievements is that we provided assistance to the Kuwaiti female police force. We helped them with their establishment based on a cooperation agreement. The ministry sent an elite group of female officers, infantry and fitness trainers to train the Kuwaiti female cadets in order to help them become competent female officers. In 2012, we had the first female SWAT squad in the region. That was led by a female officer. In 2022, we had a joint Emirati Bahraini military exercise in counterterrorism, where the participants showed their competencies, skills, and capabilities to fight all forms of crimes, including terrorism.
I think with such a long line of activities that involves women in particular, I think that always shows that the Kingdom of Bahrain has always had the spirit of gender equality, and it's really nice to see that replicated across, all fields, and to see it go that far back as well. I mean, I think just shows the Kingdom of Bahrain's dedication to that cause. Now, what can you tell us a bit about the women's role in the Interpol Directorate specifically?
Well, referring to the Sustainable Development Goals of empowering women and girls and achieving gender equality, our role as women in the International Affairs and Interpol Directorate is not different than any of our male colleagues. The International Affairs and Interpol Directorate falls under the General Directorate of Anti-Corruption, Economic and Electronic Security, and we represent Interpol's National Central Bureau in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Crime nowadays has an international aspect. Think of cyber crimes, wanted fugitives, stolen or illicit goods that are driven by organized crime groups. When the crime falls beyond the national jurisdiction of a country, that country needs international support in order to solve it. And this is where we step in as members of the international criminal police organizations, where we collaborate and cooperate with the member countries in order to investigate crimes and criminals, in order to share data and intelligence to help each other and assist each other to fight crime.
It's always incredible to me how much the Kingdom of Bahrain invests like in innovation across all fields, and to see even with the police how it goes into into combating crime and developing all of these systems in order to deter criminal behavior is just incredible to me. I mean, clearly you have a lot to work with, and all of the hard work that the police force has put in is paying off, because it's like we were saying, crime is developing, unfortunately. It is one of those things that evolves with a society, and to see the active effort that goes into combating it is just mind-blowing to me. And now, just before we conclude, I would like to ask you that from your point of view, what are the challenges that some women face in the police field, and how do they overcome it successfully?
Okay, now from my perspective, first, as a Bahraini woman, under the leadership of His Royal Majesty, King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, and referring to the Bahraini Women's Day slogan, I read, I learned, I participated, summarizes that we as women stand side by side with the men of our country to help to contribute towards the development of Bahrain. What challenges can we possibly face under the directives of our wise leadership, the support and loyalty of His Excellency, the Minister of Interior, General Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa. The ministry adopts a policy of modernization and development in order to improve our efficiency to carry out our duty by education and the latest technology. As a serving female officer, and on behalf of all of my female colleagues, I proudly tell you that we represented and continue to represent the Ministry of Interior in both levels, nationally and internationally.
Brilliantly said, and it's also incredible, and it makes me very proud to always hear that that is an integral part of Bahrain's approach to everything, really, that we are all equal. And like you said, I thank our leadership for making that possible and always striving to keep it so. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for this very special episode. We have much more coming up next.
The Kingdom of Bahrain annually marks Bahrain Police Day on December 14 for the significant role of police personnel in protecting security and stability, maintaining calmness in society, and reinforcing growth and progress efforts. The protection shield of national accomplishment and a role model for sacrifices for their immortal stands in the nation's memory for the current and future generations to know about their courage and heroism in protecting their country. Their noble mission and watchful eyes inspire braveness, determination, and pride values. Bahrain Police Day has many indications and reflects the national respect and appreciation of police personnel for their contributions and sacrifices out of their significant responsibility and vital role in reinforcing security system and stability, for being a core element in development efforts through the principle of no development without security and no security without development, as a security is the protection shield of development.
Our celebration of Bahraini Police Day continues, as December 14 will always remain a day to salute the contributions of police servicemen and women and to express appreciation of their endeavors to protect the nation's security and safety. To talk more about that, we are pleased to welcome here at the studio Captain Safiya Al-Hajari from the Purchase Directorate at the Ministry of Interior. Welcome, Captain. How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Very good, thank you. So first, I'd like to start by asking you, the Bahraini police has a vital and active role in maintaining security and peace. What can you tell us about that role and its exerted efforts?
Right, so the Bahrain Police, they do play a very important role in maintaining law and order within the country. A couple of responsibilities that they take on is law enforcement, making sure that all individuals adhere and follow the Bahraini laws. Apart from that, we maintain law and order during public events, let's say, such as the Formula One. The main priority of the Bahrain Police Force is to protect and make sure that everyone is safe in any circumstances that take place.
Very well said, and thankfully here in Bahrain we always feel safe, so that's a perfect sentiment to convey. And what can you tell us about the main achievements accomplished by the Bahraini police during the current year?
The Bahrain Police Force have managed to reduce the rate of crimes throughout the last year, and especially with the help of use of the enhancement through technology and surveillance. Apart from that, we have also managed to strengthen our ties with other nations worldwide, following also the social media. Obviously the development of social media is so big now, so the Bahrain police media have managed to use this to our advantage, to reach out to the general public and interact with them more closely. We have used several social media platforms and websites And just recently they have set up the National Civil Protection Platform, which was set up basically to as a guidance for the general public and a way of them to access any information that's related to safety or in case of any emergency that may occur.
That's brilliant. And what can you tell us about the role of women and their main achievements in the police field in Bahrain?
So the General Directorate of Women's Police was set up in 1979, and since then the women have contributed and also made notable milestones within the ministry. They have been given leadership roles as well as being able or given the opportunity, let's say, to become head of certain sections within the ministry. Apart from that, the Bahrain Police Force also concentrate, or let's say focus on gender equality. So women have been introduced into all sectors within the ministry. So let's say we have women in the SWAT team, we have women as detectives in the forensic science. We also have a women officer who works as an engineer in the police aviation. Apart from that, women have known to be more empathetic towards, let's say, the general public. So that also has helped, let's say, not better the Bahrain Police, but has helped kind of get across to the general public as well. Because women have entered the police field and become a success, it has encouraged other women to go into different sectors, such as, let's say, to become doctors, lawyers. It has opened up so many fields to women who maybe couldn't do it before or were probably scared to go to do it. Say, for example, the General Director of Women's Police of Bahrain, Brigadier Muna Abdelrahim, she was invited by Kuwait in 2008 to help set up their first women police system over there too.
It's brilliant and very inspiring. And now to talk a little bit more in specifics, what can you tell us about the role of women in your directorate?
Right, so I'm working in Purchasing Directorate in the Ministry of Interior, and I myself am Head of Expendables branch within the local purchasing department. So from there I can say that we have been given opportunities to lead, to become strong, independent women and to make their own decisions. We often encourage our women to strengthen their bonds or strengthen their relations with both the suppliers as well as the departments that they have to deal with by conducting regular meetings, because in our department we have to always know or let's say keep up to date with the new products that are being launched within the local market. So for women to be able to do that and to kind of, let's say, put their foot down and talk to these suppliers and come across to them is a big step for us. Also, in my own team, I have women who are dealing with, let's say, the transport sector, the Coast Guard sector. They deal with the spare parts and the maintenance of all the engines. So for us, maybe years ago, women wouldn't have been involved in that particular kind of sector.
Brilliantly said. And now, just before we conclude, I'd like to ask you, how do you value the support being provided for women who are in the police force?
Well, I can confidently say that they have provided us with so much support. Let's start just with the recruitment process itself. They have been very fair and equal, both between men and women, to enter the police force. Apart from that, they have also taken into consideration the physical attributes and the differences between men and women. So let's say for the women, maybe the physical side might not be as harsh as men's side. The Bahrain Police Force also focus on gender equality. So again, when we go back to leadership and promotions, men and women are treated equally. And finally, also the ministry does take into consideration that a lot of women police are mothers. So they do get given the maternity support that we need. We get given in case like flexible working hours in case needed. And also they provide us with the health support that we need to.
Brilliantly said. Thank you so much for joining us, Captain.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
So viewers, stay tuned and we'll be back with more on this special episode of Bahrain Now. The police servicemen and women will remain a great source of inspiration for others keen on learning from their genuine values of courage, determination, dedication, loyalty, steadfastness, and pride. And this brings us to the end of this special episode. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
you.